libido has to do with sexual urge and the strength of your sexual urge. Yeah, to my understanding, I think that's what it is.
A term referring to a person's sexual drive, meaning that whether the person how konji dey hook the person na how me I understand am in pidgin language. How konji dey hook that person. You know say konji fit hook you in 10 different ways. Konji fit dey hook you throughout the whole day. Konji fit hook you once. But in essence, I feel all I understand libido is that a person's sexual drive or an emotion or emotional energy related to sex. So it's just like saying how active is that person? Does he do it like 3 times in a day? How does that person relate when talking about sexual intercourse? It might not be actually doing it, but his energy towards such topics could be something referring to that also. But I most people feel that it is the aspect itself.
For me, libido is your sexual desire, the urge, that emotional, that mental energy that determines your sexual drive. You know, that's libido as far as I understand.
There's a plus side to it also. The fact that a lot of things, like one of the very important things is that a lot of people shows how capable they are, not just in aspect of sex, but how they treat it, how they are able to tolerate if they don't want to even knack. That is another reason why when you have a libido, it allows you to know the kind of this thing where you not do things like rape or something. That is how I understand it. But the disadvantage, well, I was shocked when I was discussing with a fellow colleague, a friend of mine, and he told me that was when I was in school. He told me that when you have high sexual drive, it is what we call it becomes out of control. Another it calls what we call sexual compulsion, like vampire diaries when class they compel you. So there's what we call sexual compulsion. So now that sexual compulsion has a lot of issues. One of such is that it affects the person negatively in so many ways. The way the person relates with people, the way the person does in maybe one is trying to do a task or something, heart behaves. It's going to affect him psychologically. It affects us psychologically and socially in the sense that when relating with people, you're always bringing the topic around sex, and there is more to life about sex. Even though sex is not part one of the major this, but when I want to talk to you concerning something important, there is this drawback that especially ladies, when if it's mature ladies, when a guy is having that sexual compulsion, is talking to them, they know that something is wrong with this kind of person. Is this person kind of, maybe that's when they start thinking that the person is a sex addict. So it spoils relationship on a social level. It affects the psyche, the way you talk, not just socially when you relate to somebody, even the way you behave. You are when you are trying to say okay, you want to come out of that behavior, there are certain things you do that people have to question, like are you sure that this kind of person is okay? Not knowing that it's not this is just that the person has to train himself, or say a psychiatrist, maybe Yaba left or something, for him to know how to control such urge. That's the disadvantage of high libido.
Well, it's not exactly a bad idea to have an high libido, to have high libido, but because it's not a bad idea because you cannot, you are in charge of the strength of your libido. Yeah, I think so. You're not in charge. I think it's just your body system.
Well, I don't think it is bad, but when it begins to affect how you live, how you relate with people, how people perceive you, I think then it is bad. That is why the condition itself sometimes is not what is within the control of the person, because of the causes. But it can be managed, because failure to manage it can result to a lot of negative perception. So in that case, I will say it is bad.
Well, they can they can manage themselves by okay, by you asking her for sex and by she telling you, oh, I'm not ready, I'm not in the mood. That's because she's not ready for sex and you are ready, so it's going to eventually result in a quarrel. So it depends on how you manage arguments amidst yourselves.
Couples have a lot to do in this area because, when one of the partner is high and the other is low, that imbalance can really cause chaos in the family, I mean, between them. So there is need for them to really sit and talk about this. They can even see a sex therapist, see a professional, talk to someone that is into this kind of things, so that they can have a proper understanding. And in this case, I think the person on the high have more to do than the other person. So, but by and large, the first thing is for them to talk to a therapist so that that imbalance can be adjusted and fixed. So that is the only way, because it's going to be very frustrating to have a partner that cannot meet up with your sexual desire, or that is demanding too much sexually from you. So it's not cool at all. So I advise that they speak with sex therapists and other professionals in that line.
Now, this issue is really, really tricky. It's like I always say, everything requires wisdom, but at the same time, just have to be diplomatic. Even though you're going to use wisdom, also you have to be diplomatic. The way you say these things really, really matter, so as not to hurt each other. Fine, there are times where you have to hurt each other, but there are things that you would say that would lighten the load. So now, for couples who are trying to manage themselves or manage how their sex drive is, I feel that first things first, sit down and discuss it with each other. You might not discuss it like one serious talk. You might talk about something else that leads to that eventual talk, but don't make it look like you want to sit down and just sit down and say you want to start discussing sex drive. It sounds a little bit stupid. I go talk say I wan follow you talk, babe, how far we need sit down talk based on my sexual drive. You know say conji dey always dey hook me. It doesn't really tally.
A number of factors are responsible for someone's libido level. It could be health wise, some as as a result of some health issues, health conditions. Some is psychological, it's biological. It's not what you can learn. Yes, like that. It has to come from one dysfunction or the other from within. So some is from the brain, you know. and maybe society sometimes, if we have to look at it in depth, sometimes influenced by what maybe early exposure to sexual stuffs, you know, could also be responsible for that. So for me, that's what it is.
There are many things, but let me just break it down to three. One is the biological factor, such as the what's the physical makeup of that person. Maybe the person has high testosterone, the bodily structures are heavy and strong and mighty battle. In the aspect of the women, the strong and mighty battle. I don't want to go more than that one so that they will not crucify me. That front must be strong and mighty battle. Back to strong and mighty battle. Ẹ̀gbọ́n ńlá, your this thing should be eruku. Àwọn gbólà, àwọn ògbóǹtarì, that's what this thing. That's one of the biological factors to if you have high this thing. But if you have what people dub as normal, you don't really need to have those extreme biological factors for you to have high libido. Your own might just be a moderate one. So it depends on you. As I said, biological factors in the aspect of your bodily structure, the things that make up the person. That could what would permit you to have high sexual drive. But there are other factors also like psychological factors. Biological factors could be the fact that the person is always stressed out. I mean, not just, I mean, literally stressed out. There's already stress and stress. I mean, you should wake up as early as 7:30 or 5. You are going to work, you have reached there 7:30, you are coming back as late as 10. That kind of person, if you have high sex libido or high sex drive, because no time, 24/7, you share. So it could be stress. That's what could have low sex drive. So if the person do 3 minutes, 5 minutes, not the person's stress, just stress. So that is one of the factors also that can affect it. Also, maybe the person a jobless person. You know, say na jobless people na dey knack person pass. According to some people, I'm not part of them. I don't believe in that affirmation. No. Some people say when us married man wey dey work don comot, another man wey e no dey go work, e no dey do anything, and that time when you go see say e go dey service woman well well because e no dey worry about anything, na straf e dey straf, so you no fit think about too much. That is another factor. Then finally, I feel the social factor, meaning the way the person relates with other people, how the person relates with other people, meaning that how they teach am how you go do this, how you go do that, how you go do this, how you go do that. So eventually he now became an expert. That could be another factor leading to him having an high libido.
The determinant of someone's libido level is, I think, is it just, I said it earlier, it's your body system. It depends on, it's your body system, and it depends on how religious you are. Okay, okay, no, it doesn't depend on how religious you are, but like, depends on how religious you are.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.